One, two, one, two, one, two. What's good, party people in the place to be? It's the number one chief rocker in Knicks universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy. I am here hosting what we call the Big Boss Man Roundtable. We have two home run hitters in Knicks universe, which at Woodshed 1914. You can find him on Twitter at Woodshed 1914, and Todd Beasy. I know him as Todd B. You know what I'm saying? We're going to discuss a couple topics. We got Chuck Allen in the building behind the scenes. So we're going to discuss a few topics just here for a few minutes. Starting off, this is a one-time thing. Who knows? After this, it may be continuing if others agree or whatever. But at the moment, we got a couple topics that we want to talk about. The first topic is kind of a sensitive one. The Knicks are 3-2 at the moment, coming off a very polarizing and sensitive loss to the number one team in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm going to ask the question to both gentlemen. Did the Knicks front office overplay their hand this past offseason? And why or why not? I'm going to ask that question to Woodshed first, and then we'll let Ty B come in with his answer.
Oh, absolutely. I think they overplayed their hand. You can tell based on the tea leaves that we saw initially in June and July that their plan, which was a good plan, was to pair Jalen Brunson with Donovan Mitchell, even if it cost the kids, even if it cost them draft picks. They executed part of the plan by trading out of the lottery.
What if we change the name?
Which to me is amazing that you were in the lottery for a reason. Your lottery team. You trade completely out of the lottery to clean space to sign Jalen Brunson, which you did, but you did not seal the deal and bring in Donovan Mitchell. So instead of the Knicks having the most dynamic punch, 1-2 punch in the backcourt in the East, they have Jalen Brunson and Evan Fournier in the backcourt. So I think they overplayed their hand to a degree. And I think that they thought they had not only Brunson in the bag, but Mitchell in the bag. And Danny Ainge played them. So, yeah, they overplayed their hand.
Hey, Ty, Ty B, what you thinking about that?
Yeah, I actually agree with Wood on that one. I think they terribly overplayed their hand. Even more so, although, okay, small sample size alert, but the play that we've seen from the kids thus far, and primarily, I know this is going to be something we're going to get into later on, but our supposed crown jewel and one RJ Barrett. But starting with the draft, I'm not one of those capologist guys, but I still feel that there could have been a way where you could still use that lottery pick, get off of Kemba, and have enough money to drop Jalen Brunson. I mean, unless someone can show me otherwise, but
Preach.
I've seen Miami and Pat Riley do magic with that salary cap and roster almost every year, for the last, at least since the Heatles era.
Right.
So that's one. And secondly, if you have done everything to set up the trade, not only for a star, but one star in particular, going back to when Leon Rose first was hired, when you staff your front office with executives from the Utah Jazz and the guy who's credited with, I won't say discovering Donovan Mitchell, but certainly influential in spotting him, as a diamond in the rough. Not only that team maneuvered to get into the lottery. People forget that they traded up to get 13 to select Donovan Mitchell. You hire and make him your associate head coach, his developmental coach at Utah, who was close with him. You put him on your coaching staff, so now both your front office and your coaching staff are kind of aligned on this one particular player. You accumulate all these assets for the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case is, however you want to count it, whether by years or seasons. He becomes available. When it's time to pull the trigger, you back down. And then now it's easy to say, well, Danny Ainge was never gonna engage with us fairly, but at the end of the day, everybody's money's green. And what it boils down to, your young talent that we're supposed to be, that the organization's supposed to be so enamored with, nobody places any value on outside of your organization. And that's where we are. And I don't even want to rehash the whole Donovan Mitchell thing, but just now looking at it with the benefit of a little bit of hindsight, and again, small sample size alert, it's only been 5 games, but can we honestly say that any of our young kids look like they can be that dude?
You mean that dude like Donovan Mitchell or Giannis?
Right. Well, I didn't even say Giannis. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's on that level, although, he's averaging 31 right now, points per game right now. But even just who on the Knicks, out of this so-called young core, your favorite phrase?
I love the phrase. I love the phrase "young core," bro.
And say, it
just makes me. It makes me think Lucky Charms, magically delicious, bro. Is when I think young core.
It's magically delicious. But out of this young core, who can I look at and say I know for a fact I'm getting at least 20 points out of him tonight?
An efficient 20.
An efficient 20.
Okay.
Despite competition, despite the whether it's Orlando or Milwaukee, he's going to get an efficient 20.
He's going to get me 20. Now, it may be less efficient against the Milwaukee because that's the best defense in the league.
Right.
But he's going to give me 20 without stat padding.
You know who it is?
Oh no!
I'm not trying to trigger anyone when I say this, but
let me guess. Chuck, I want to. So I feel like Chuck. I feel like I'm in the middle of two. And no disrespect, but I feel like I'm in the middle of two geniuses like circling each other to see who is the bigger brain here. This is what it feels like to me, like two minds, like trying to. It feels like I'm in the middle of Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns, right? So let me guess. I think the name that you're about to say, the guy that's going to get you the efficient 20-point game, regardless of who the opponent is Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin has, if Tibbs would only give Obi Toppin more minutes, then Obi is the guy. Obi is the guy that can average 25 and 12 for this team if we could only move Julius Randle out of the way.
That's close.
Okay.
Close.
But no cigar, so I'm not smoking tonight. Close, but no cigar.
You close.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you, and people may get triggered by this, but the guy that is the closest one to be able to get his, whether we playing the Bucks, the Warriors, the Spurs, the Hornets, the Magic, the Pelicans, is Emmanuel Quickly.
Oh,
is Emmanuel Quickly. I'm gonna tell you why.
I just do my headphones, y'all. I just do my headphones. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you why. You know why? He can be trusted to knock down foul shots in the fourth quarter. That is why. He's attacking the basket more. He's drawing more fouls. And let me say this. Do you think Emmanuel quickly could average 20 if he was taking 14, 15 shots a game? I do.
Well, is he in what role though? So you're saying if he started over Evan Fournier?
If he started over Fournier and we made a concerted effort to run horns, to run floppy, to get him free, to get him looks, to get him switches on bigs, and gave him the green light with insulation around him, like a Jalen Brunson.
Oh, cue up the John Legend, the green light. Okay.
Because look, he played with Jalen Brunson yesterday in a few spurts, and they look good together.
Yes.
They look good.
Him and Rose look good together.
Yeah, him and Rose look good. Quickly he's got the wings. He's got like a 6'9" wingspan, so he can defend twos, he can defend some threes. And the biggest thing is, if you go back and look, I haven't pulled this out much. You know who the number one fourth quarter scorer is for the Knicks since Tibbs got here?
No.
I think it's Quickly, isn't it?
It's Emmanuel Quickly. You know who averages the most minutes in the fourth quarter per game since Tom Thibodeau has been here?
No.
It's Emmanuel Quickly.
Wow. Did not know that.
He averages, I think it was 4.7 points per game in the fourth quarter. That's more than Randall. That's more than Barrett. Higher percentage than both, and elite from the free throw line.
So two things, Woodshed, just real quick. First of all, I don't appreciate how you just threw my man Obi Toppin away. First of all, secondly, I didn't understand. I didn't know. So does that mean Julius Randle is a second and third quarter guy,
he's a middle of the game guy? RJ Barrett is a third quarter guy. I'm telling you. Emmanuel Quickly has averaged 9.2 minutes per game in the fourth quarter since Tibbs has got here.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's a lot of minutes.
The most points in the fourth quarter since Tibbs got here. So you have a kid that, if you give him an opportunity like that, 27-7, without breaking a sweat, it didn't shock me. Right. He was 8 for 12 from the floor, had 20 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. And the good thing about Quickly is, and Randall can learn something from this, Quickly doesn't struggle to hit averages. I got to get my 20. Quickly say, okay, let me get 9 rebounds and 8 assists, and I may not score but 8 points tonight. Then the next night, I can get 25 points. I may not get but 5 rebounds and 3 assists tonight. It balances out. So you have a dude that has star potential. You know how many times Dame Lillard has certified Emmanuel Quickly in public on social media? Often. He just did it again this week.
It's often.
No? That's Dame.
Yeah.
That is Dame. So that's why I said when we signed Jalen Brunson.
How valuable is a cosign from an NBA superstar though?
Like Dame?
Yes.
He don't do it often.
Right.
So to be knighted by an NBA megastar is important in the development of a young player.
And they don't have the same agent. Or nothing like that. Who was Donovan Mitchell hanging with in the summer?
Oh, yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah. Let me ask Todd B this. Todd B. So if Woodshed, I wanna all I'm doing is putting a pin in this point. I want to continue this, but I want to get Todd B's opinion. So Todd B, listen, man. If Quickly is being anointed by Damian Lillard and others, because there's others out here that have knighted Emmanuel Quickly, right? Not Quentin Grimes and not RJ Barrett. So what does it say about RJ Barrett that other NBA stars at his position do not knight him?
You know I love RJ Barrett.
I can't tell.
And I still believe in RJ Barrett. But I think we need to temper our expectations on RJ Barrett. First of all, we need to stop comparing him to Zion. Stop comparing him to Ja.
Those are super freaks, bro.
So they're superstar. But we knew RJ will never be them. He won't have their careers.
No, because they're super freaks, bro.
Right.
These dudes have 44-inch verticals.
Right.
And Zion by far is the fastest human being at his position in the NBA. Zion at pound for pound is the fastest player in the NBA pound for pound. There is no player Zion's weight that can beat Zion Williamson in a foot race in the NBA, bro.
Right. To be that big and move that
fast. He's a super freak.
Yeah. They're Marvel characters. They're they're superheroes.
John Morant is if Allen Iverson and Vince Carter had a baby, that's John Morant.
Right. John Morant, and for those that don't remember, man, John Morant is what Kevin Johnson from the Phoenix Suns could have been if Phoenix would have just gave him the ball 50% of the time. Kevin Johnson was the fastest player in the NBA, had the largest vertical, probably had the biggest heart of anybody his size, pound for pound. And this is talking about the Mark Price, who Kevin Johnson backed up in Cleveland. People don't remember Mark Price's backup was a dude named Kevin Johnson, right? But Kevin Johnson, just imagine if Kevin Johnson and Allen Iverson had a baby, right? You're talking about an explosive athlete, pound for pound, and with Allen Iverson, probably the twitchiest of all quick twitch athletes we have ever seen. Right? Allen Iverson could do stuff with a basketball. He was so quick, he was so twitchy that even the elite athlete could not stay in front of
not even the GOAT.
Right.
Not even the GOAT. Not even the great MJ. He got across too.
Right. And so I'm sorry, Tybee. We didn't mean to cut you off, bro. When you were talking about the RJ Barrett and the Zion Ja draft. I'm sorry, but I always romanticize that thing that those dudes are super freaks, bro.
Right.
And RJ Barrett is not.
RJ Barrett is not. That don't mean he can't have a good career. That won't mean he won't be a solid NBA player. But he'll never be that, and it's not fair to just because he was drafted right after them doesn't mean that he's on a similar trajectory. He was never on that trajectory. So that's number one. We need to kind of temper our expectations, but certain expectations are reasonable. And we shouldn't be in year 4, and for the second consecutive year, your coach has to tell you to get in the gym to get your shot right.
Right.
I mean, that you worked on all summer. And then I wish he would have teased me those 4 games of preseason, because he actually looks the part.
Right.
He looked fluid. His handle looked tighter. He looks like a shooter.
Right.
Like he was letting that thing go, no hesitation. Like it looked good every time. Game 1, he's got that hitch in his shot back.
Right.
But I've noticed on the free throws, his free throws look fluid. His free throws, I guess because he can, kind of concentrate and take his time. When he shoots free throws now, he looks like a shooter.
Right.
Like as far as his form and everything is concerned.
Right.
And then defensively, and I know he probably has to cover. It's not even necessarily just
Go on and say it.
48. But there's no excuse to be getting backdoor multiple times again. That's not on Fournier.
Yeah, I understand. Understand that the thing I just want to get to real quick to the comparison is Michael Jordan was the number 3 pick in his draft, right? Mm-hmm. There's no harm in that. The dudes taken ahead of him was supposed to revolutionize the game. One of them did. One of them was injured, and injuries prevented him from being the Porzingis of his era. Injuries, right? Sam Bowie was a bust just because his body let him down, not because he couldn't play, right? But here's the thing though about being the guys in front of you being great, right? In that draft, Jordan went third, right? Nobody complains about Sam Perkins being a number 4 pick in that draft because Sam Perkins was a very good NBA player, right?
For a long time.
You know who was the number 5 pick in that draft? Charles Barkley.
I was it was in Barkley. Okay.
Charles Barkley was also in that draft. And to be honest with you, Charles Barkley was the super freakiest athlete in that draft. See, because Charles Barkley was not 6'6", 195 with a 48-inch vertical. Charles Barkley was 6'6", 300 pounds with a 46-inch vertical. You know what I'm saying? Now, for those that don't understand the pound for pound metrics there, it's harder to move 300 pounds to 46 inches than it is to move 195 pounds, 48 inches. And I'm comparing the jumping ability of Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, right? You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So when I'm saying about the super freak thing, and you know who else was in that same draft? And this is who I'm comparing RJ Barrett to. John Stockton. John Stockton was in that draft. John Stockton was not fast, quick twitch, had no vertical. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't big, but you know what John Stockton was? Tough. John Stockton was as tough as that steak you get from the Waffle House after the club at 4:00. So John Stockton was a 4:00 Waffle House steak, bro. And I think that's what RJ Barrett is. But it took John Stockton, the thing that we have the least amount of. And that's time.
Tough. I was going to say toughness.
Yeah, that's time. We feel like we don't have time for RJ to develop into that John Stockton tough championship level player. You know what I'm saying? And what people say to me all the time is, well, you always say that, bring up John Stockton. John Stockton never won a championship. But you know what? Neither did Sam Bowie, who was drafted ahead of Jordan. Right? And neither did, and I don't think Sam Perkins or Charles Barkley that were drafted right after Michael Jordan won championships. Sam Perkins, he may have snuck on a team and won a championship as a backup big, but I don't quite remember if he did or not.
I think he may have gotten one with the Lakers. I think,
or something. I can't remember, but I know he lost one with Seattle.
Yeah, he was on that team.
But hang on, Freezy. I see where you're going with the Stockton comparison, but there's one thing that. What does RJ do elite? Like, Stockton was an elite, I wouldn't say he had an elite handler, but he was an elite floor general. He was an elite passer.
Right. You are
an elite shooter.
You are
what
remembering.
What does RJ Barrett do elite?
Are you remembering the 90s Stockton or the 80s John Stockton?
Well,
see, because there's a difference.
I was referring to. I was thinking of the Western Conference champion Stockton. So
right,
yeah,
but that was the Stockton.
90s.
That was the Stockton after time.
Right. Okay. 80 Stockton. I mean, I remember him, but I don't. It's not like I was watching a lot of Utah games.
He wasn't.
You know
John Stockton wasn't a top 10 point guard in that golden era of point guards. You're talking about Isaiah. Stockton got drafted 2 years after Isaiah Thomas.
Was he talking Isaiah?
Yeah, Mark Price, Fat Lever, Tim Hardaway, Kevin Johnsons. You're talking, man.
Magic, of course.
Magic Johnsons, Dennis Johnsons,
Derek Harper,
Norm Nixon's. Yeah. John Stockton wasn't in that group until he got into a system that highlighted his strengths. You see where I'm going, right?
Right. Okay. But is RJ Barrett good enough to where you would try to devise a system around his strengths?
I don't think so, because he doesn't have enough strengths to do that. What is his strength?
Right. That was my point. Like, what does he do really well? Like, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't do.
The only thing he does well, to a degree that I would say is close to elite, is draw contact when going to the basket, but it's only when he goes left. It's only when he goes left. When he goes right, he always pulls up, takes some awkward floater or some awkward layup. Like, not to get off track, but the most sobering thing about it is if you go back and look through our NBA history, the number 3 pick has been the safest pick you can make.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at the recent.
Even the last few years.
Jaylen Brown,
10 years, right.
number 3 pick, all-star. Jason Tatum, number 3 pick, all-star. The next year, Luka Doncic, number 3 pick, all-star. Then we had Andre. Then the number 3 pick, you have Evan Mobley, number 3 pick, all-star. LaMelo Ball was a number 3 pick, going to be an all-star.
Well, he made an all-star team last year.
Bradley Beal was a number 3 pick. James Harden was a number 3 pick. I'm pretty sure Westbrook was a number 3 pick. Like, I mean, it's that's the sobering thing about it is that, okay, when we got a top 3 pick, I'm not gonna lie, my daughter almost saw me cry for the first time on draft lottery night 2019 because I'm looking at the odds like there's no way that the Pelicans and the Grizzlies are gonna jump us. I said, so we're leaving.
And the
here.
Lakers had a chance to jump us too.
I said, there's no way we're not leaving this lottery with John Morant or Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
So that's why it is so sobering to me, because when you draft a number 3 pick or top 3 pick, it's somebody that's expected to change your franchise. Like if you go back and look at Bradley Beal, his first year in the playoffs, he showed out. Jaylen Brown, first year in the playoffs, showed out. Tatum, same thing. Luka, same thing. You know, we paid him now. So regardless of what we think about him, we paid him like we expect him to play.
But Mr. Woodshed, that was never the question, though. The question to you and Ty B was, are you concerned that the NBA royalty are not knighting RJ Barrett, but they did, someone in the NBA royalty knighted Emmanuel Quickley?
Yeah, it's concerning because now you've had guys say nice things about RJ, but it's like LeBron right after we played the Lakers, or Jimmy right after we played the Heat. But guys aren't going out of their way. Like Damian Lillard would go out of his way to say, "Hey, man, this kid is official." It was a tweet from like ESPN or something the other day, said something about Emmanuel Quickley, and Damian Lillard quoted on Instagram, said, "Hey, I'm telling y'all, this kid's for real.
Right.
I see myself when I'm looking at this kid."
Right.
But the Knicks have capped him to be an auxiliary piece off the bench. That's why I asked you last year, this past summer, how does Quickley feel about the Knicks going out and signing $100 million point guard?
That's interesting, bro.
We know he can hit big shots in the fourth quarter. We know he can shoot from inside the hoop all the way out to 30 feet.
Right.
We know he can make plays when the game is on the line. We've seen him do it for 2 years.
Right.
Is he a better defender? He's a better defender. So, I mean, if I had to pick one guy on this roster that I say, okay, this dude I could definitely see achieving not a superstar, but that star role to where he makes a couple all-star games. He wins a couple 3-point shootout. He wins a skills challenge. He's a household name. It's him.
Right.
Wow, okay. I thought I was high on Quickley. I'm not that high.
Yeah, there is a Quickley hive stirring. Like there's the making of a Quickley hive, right? But people are not in favor of the Quickley hive because RJ Barrett is the golden child. RJ Barrett is the line, is the separator thing. It's like RJ Barrett. If you guys can just give me just 30 seconds to cook, it's like, okay, so in my family, I don't know if this guy, if you guys experience this or not, but there is a line of demarcation from my generation and my family, right, to those that didn't go to college, right? Like before me, there are people in my family that didn't go to college, didn't finish high school. Some of them didn't even go to high school. Some of them dropped out in the 8th grade to help the family work to take care of the family, right? And then there's my generation, the ones that went and got their schooling and made their mark in corporate America and things of that sort, right? There's a line of demarcation. And I'm here to tell you that RJ Barrett is that. See, it's not about RJ Barrett's production on the floor. It's about what RJ Barrett represents. You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett represents the golden child. Like the RJ Barrett represents the thing that separates us from all the bad draft picks, all the Kevin Knoxes, the Damian Dotsons, the Ignas Brazdekises, the Kevin Knoxes,
the Frank Ntilikina's,
the Frank Ntilikina's. Yeah. So RJ is placed on this pedestal because he represents a different place in the Knicks timeline. That's the reason why we don't want to dust him up. So RJ Barrett is, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but RJ Barrett is the Run DMC of this Knicks timeline, right? We all knew Run DMC wasn't the best rappers. We all knew they didn't have the best style. We all knew but they represented the thing from the Treacherous Three, the Cold Crush Brothers, who were all better groups. But Run DMC could sell more records. If you get what I'm saying, like a Run DMC is the ones that they the golden childs, right? Like everybody wanted to battle Run DMC, right? Because they know they would win, right? But our forefathers were like, no, don't you touch them, because they're gonna take this thing to this next level, and that's what RJ Barrett is for us, not his production. RJ's a good kid. He play hard. He do all that stuff. He got good parents. He come from a good background. He's tough. He come from all this stuff. But RJ Barrett will never be Kobe Bryant. RJ Barrett will never even be Zion Williamson or Ja Morant. But what he is to Knicks fans is that thing that takes us from Frank Ntilikina, Doug McDermott, Enes Kanter, Troy Williams, Mario Hezonja, and all this stuff that came behind.
Noah
to this
Vonleh.
Yeah. RJ Barrett is that makes us look at Emmanuel Quickly as being anointed by Damian Lillard, right? Because before RJ, we were a grease fire. After RJ Barrett, we're kind of working with something. We're on that road to respectability.
He represents organizational competence.
Yes. Not on the floor now. Not on the floor. Right? But I'm talking about going forward. He's the golden child. Y'all ever saw that movie, The Golden Child?
Oh, one of my favorites.
The Eddie Murphy movie? How the golden child represents not the stuff that came prior, but the stuff going forward. And not that he was the best, because he was a kid. But he represented the future of that entity. And that's what RJ Barrett represents, the future of Knicks basketball. And so if RJ Barrett is just an 18-5-5 guy that helps represents the future of Knicks basketball, that's good enough. That should be good enough for us, even though I feel like Quickly, like Wish had mentioned, might be the star that we're looking for. He may be, but I just don't like how Woodshed, though, from a neutral standpoint, I just don't understand why Woodshed is throwing Obi Toppin away. Is Obi Toppin not a star in the making, bro?
Obi Toppin already has mystique to his name. I mean, he is the NBA Slam Dunk champion. He should have won it 2 years ago. But I'm saying he was the only representation we had at All-Star Weekend. He has some clout to his name. My thing about Obi, and I told you my biggest disappointment with Obi, and I get it because he's a leaper, is that I don't see any growth in the weight room. I don't see any growth in the weight room. Like you either need to trend in the weight room so you can man that 4, or you need to trend as a shooter so you can play some 3.
Are you calling Obi soft?
I don't know. He was born of a street ball player, but he cherry picks and he's never down low. He's never down low. I see Quickly and Brunson and Rose fighting for rebounds more than him.
Well, I will say this in Obi's defense and in Mitch's defense to an extent. In Tibbs' system, he wants his guards to get rebounds, especially now, so they can get out in transition, or at least get the ball up the court. Maybe get something a quick, easy looking secondary transition.
Yeah.
But you know what makes life easy in that regard? Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, and you know what makes it easy too, Wood? Is when a big man 6'9" with a 44-inch vertical
get the ball off the rim,
can grab a rebound and then kick it out to guards to handle a fast break instead of guards getting a rebound and a power forward running a fast break.
Like, come on. If I'm telling you, if Obi runs, if he grabs it off the rim and runs the floor, it's gonna come back to him. The ball is gonna come back to him. I promise you it will. And people look at the box score and they say, "Oh my God, why did Tibbs send Obi? He had 12 points in 11 minutes, whatever it was." And I said, you can go back and rewatch the game. There were 3 or 4 straight possessions where Obi was in the game, did not even attempt to box out. The Bucks get an easy offensive rebound, kick it out to the shooter for the open 3, or Bobby Portis gets to put back in one. Like you cannot allow that against a team like the Bucks.
You can't give up easy. And for the record, even with Obi playing the 2 is what make I joke, I kid saying Obi Toppin playing shooting guard. We still help. Excuse me, I'm getting emotional here talking about Obi. I'm sorry. even with the loss, we held the Milwaukee Bucks to 38.5% shooting from the floor. Right.
Yeah, that was a grind.
Yes.
That game was a grind. The difference is they had that gorilla sitting on top of the NBA with chainsaws for arms.
Yes.
And we didn't. If you put Randall on the Bucks and put Giannis on the Knicks, the results are flipped.
The results are flipped.
They're flipped.
Yes.
So I mean, it's.
So the thing with Obi is,
can I say something real quick though?
Oh, sure, of course.
I won't get into the game too much because
because it's only one game. It's only one game out of 82.
Right. You can't break it down like it's NFL.
Yeah.
But I think this game did expose a couple of things. At least on how to beat the Knicks. They were real physical with Jalen Brunson. And they stayed in drop because they knew the Knicks couldn't shoot, at least their starters.
Right.
But I think so that's a minor point. I think the bigger issue is it kind of Tibbs fall back into his old habits as far as he did. He fell into as far that 18-0 run. They went on that run. He finally called a timeout. And then he went back with the same starters.
Yeah, that struggled. I think
he called a timeout after like a 10 or 12-0. It was like a 12-0 run.
Yeah.
He called a timeout.
It was actually 11, but yeah.
It was 11, okay.
Yeah.
But
they had a 6-point lead. They went a 5-point lead. They went on an 11-0 run, came out of timeout, and Portis got a and one over Jalen Brunson.
Right. All right.
And you have to ask yourself, why is Jalen Brunson on the block with Bobby Portis?
And Obi Toppin is on the perimeter.
Well, no, but those were still the starters at that point. They had the 18-0 run against the starters.
Oh, okay. All right.
But Fournier was getting cooked. But here's another thing. Why was the game plan to have Mitch guard Giannis?
That's your best shot, bro.
Yeah, because
that's your. You saw Mitch block. You see Mitch block his shot.
Yeah,
I think Julius, when he's engaged, he's a decent one-on-one defender. He's quick enough to keep up with Giannis.
Size matters though, bro. Size matters though.
I mean, I'm not saying not to have Mitch on him, but I would have thrown. Well, this is what I'm getting back to with Tibbs. It was just a lack of creativity and adjustments. Like I would have thrown Sims in there for just to give him a different look. Like with this roster, because it's bereft of star talent, you're gonna have to win when you're playing the. And again, I'm not expecting them to beat the Clevelands and Bostons of the world.
We should,
but to have a shot, there's no way we beat Boston, bro.
I'm saying the Clevelands though.
Oh no, Cleveland. No, did I say Cleveland? No, I meant Milwaukee. Cleveland. No, Cleveland. This is the game I want to see.
This is going to tell you a lot.
This is the game where we'll see if we got some friends or some frauds.
Yeah.
But Todd, do you understand what is going through the mind of Donovan Mitchell right now?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't want to trade me for these dudes?
For these bums?
Yeah.
For these dudes?
Yes. Yeah. But what? You know what these dudes are saying? These dudes are saying, bro, you wanted to trade us for that? Motivation always goes two ways. Think of if you don't believe me, think about when you have an argument with the missus. Your motivations are one thing, but she got motivations of her own. You know what I'm saying? She got, you know what I'm saying? And so you like, that's the reason why at certain stitches of time, entities can't coexist because they have a. You think Emmanuel Quickly is thinking y'all wanted to trade me for that when Damian Lillard said I got the makings of a star? Damian Lillard says Emmanuel Quickly reminds me of myself. And y'all want to trade me for that dude? The only difference is he gets more shots.
We'll see.
It definitely works both ways, but it's personal for that dude. I know it is. Like, and what really was the gut punch was when the dude straight up there and told the Cleveland media in the opening interview, I thought I was going home.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
He didn't say next question. He said, I thought it's personal. He going for 60 tomorrow. He going to try to score 60.
Okay.
Wait till he comes to the Garden. I mean, he's averaging what, 31, 32?
31.
Yeah, but he was going to average that. He was going to average that in New York.
Yeah, he's going to average that regardless. I'm not saying, but I'm saying if he's averaging 30, he might get 60. He might go for 50.
Yeah. Let me say this though, just to put a bow on the OB Quickly RJ and overplay, the front office overplaying their hand. So I think we all agree that the front office may have overplayed their hand, and this Donovan Mitchell thing tomorrow afternoon might be the consignment that we need to prove that point is right. And the Emmanuel Quickly thing is if you confident that Damian Lillard is right about you having the potential to be a star, well, you're playing against two all-star guards tomorrow. It's time to put up a shutout.
Brunson too.
Yep.
You need to see it.
And the thing with RJ Barrett, if RJ Barrett is indeed the golden child, then we need to finish this season with a higher win total than what was expected, right? In order for us to prove to the world that RJ Barrett is the AD, you know what I'm saying, to Frank Ntilikina's BC, for those that understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And RJ Barrett has to be the AD, you know what I'm saying, to what we were from the past. RJ Barrett has to be the Phoenix Rising, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, with this team. Now, does it come from charismatic leadership or does it come from performance on the floor? What I'm telling you is RJ Barrett's charismatic leadership is what's going to have us be the Phoenix Rising from the ashes, as opposed, because RJ Barrett's not gonna be Ja Morant or Zion ever. He's not a super freak, right? He's Jermaine Stewart. Like I be telling Chuck, like he is not Rick James. He's Jermaine Stewart. For those that don't know who Jermaine Stewart is, he had the joint. We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. That's who RJ Barrett is. He'll never be Rick James. He's not a super freak. You feel me?
All right, he's not Rick James. He's not gonna be Prince.
Yeah, he's not.
You know who I compared him to 2 years ago. Before 1 year ago now, before last season, and I said he would need to be this guy going for the Knicks. Meta World Peace / Ron Artest. I think that's the role. 3 years ago, you told me that. You told me 3 years ago. He needs to settle into you may never lead the team in scoring, you may never lead the team in rebounding or assists, but you can be that dog. Yeah, that embodies New York basketball. The greatest quality about RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin too is that they want to be in New York. Right. Well, the Ron Artest thing, I agree with you, because Ron Artest at his prime is a top 5 player in the NBA by doing a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Not dominating one category, but by doing a number of different. Those were, I saw Ron Artest. I think the Pacers were down by like 17. The Pistons were stomping the jelly out of them, right? And there's a ball going out of bounds. It's like late in the fourth quarter, like 4 minutes left, and the Pacers ain't got no more. Ron Artest dives out of bounds for a loose ball, right? And everybody like, why is Ron Artest diving for? And then it ignites the Pacers, right? And just by seeing stuff like that. Now, do the Pacers go on to win that game? No, the Pistons finished them off. They beat the Pacers by like 25, right? But it ignited them for the season. If your star player is willing to do that, then what are the role players doing?
Freezy, you just touched on something though. Now I'm posing a question: is Ron Artest the archetype for the two-way wing?
I don't know.
In today's NBA, Ron would probably be a 4.
Small ball 5.
Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, Ron and Draymond were very similar. Right. As far as the quality.
Except one of them was crazy.
One of them was really crazy. One of them was really, and that's what I want RJ Barrett to embody. I want him to be that dude, just like Ron Artest, when they're like, I got to deal with RJ Barrett today.
I I think Chuck wanted to chime in. Chuck, you wanted to chime in and
Can I ask you a question real quick? Yeah, I just have a one quick question on which had said that, the thing about Obi and RJ is that they want to be here. They want to be in New York. Is that enough?
No, it's not.
Them wanting to be here enough?
Yeah, it's not. It's not enough. If it was up to me, Chuck, I'm gonna be real. Both of those boys will be in Salt Lake City right now. That's just me keeping it a buck with you. They will both be in Salt Lake City right now. I think that the Knicks had a role player part down. We can get the role players galore, but we just don't have that cherry to sit in the center of the cake. And if you look at this team, they are one all-star caliber player away, in my opinion, from being able to compete with anybody in the Eastern Conference. Like if we had, and people kept saying, "Oh, you're gonna trade all that for Donovan Mitchell just to get knocked out in the first round," I didn't think they would get knocked out in the first round. If you telling me if you slide Donovan Mitchell into where Evan Fournier is, come on, man, that's not a first round exit team. It's a major upgrade. That's a major upgrade. But yeah, to answer your question, it's definitely not enough for me to say, okay, man, y'all can stay as long as you want, because the reality is everybody can't stay. It's a salary cap. We can't pay everybody. We dang sure don't need to be going into the luxury tax on it for a team that's not a contender. So yeah, to answer your question, it ain't enough. It ain't enough. We got to see more.
I don't know, man. But something's got to get done, just to kind of, because
okay,
you got to figure out who you're gonna pay next
year. So take a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. And
You there, Chuck?
Can you drop?
yes,
I think Freezy dropped.
Take a guy like Giannis. Giannis took at least about 7 years. Yeah, Giannis took like 7 years to develop into the guy that he is now. And personally, I see a lot of room to grow in his game. Could RJ be on that trajectory, or is it foolish to think that in time he'll develop into a superstar type player like Giannis?
Yeah, well, he'll never be Giannis. But I see you saying a player on that level.
Yeah, my opinion on RJ,
I don't think so.
My opinion on RJ is that I think that the limitations from an athleticism standpoint are gonna kind of hurt him. Even at 19 years old, when the Knicks went to Milwaukee and Melo had 35, after the game, Melo was saying, "Hey, this Antetokounmpo kid, he gonna be a dog.
He gonna be all
tough."
right.
And Melo was banging with him, and Giannis was about 195 pounds. He was banging right back.
Yeah. And that is with Jabari Parker, by the way, who was their number 2 pick.
Who was the crown jewel. Yep. And the thing about Giannis is early on, not just Giannis, even Kawhi, early on, you saw stuff and was like, wow.
This guy's elite.
He did that.
Even with Paul George.
He grabbed a rebound from the square and went coast to coast. Paul George, the same thing. Indiana was like, wow.
Right. When you saw Paul George, you're like, wait a minute, this dude's a 6'8" and he can guard 6-foot guards? And Paul George can guard point guards at 6'8"? Okay.
Yep. That's what gives you hope for Obi Toppin. Every game he does something that says, wow.
Except he'll be 25 in March.
Yeah. But
that's all the more reason why you need to find a way to get him 30 minutes a game, Freezy.
Well, I understand. Let me say this because I asked you guys for 30 minutes, man, and we went over. You know what I'm saying? And I apologize. I know you guys are busy, right? But I wanna table those for the moment and ask y'all for like 10 more minutes. Can I get 10 more minutes from y'all?
I got you.
Oh, okay. All right. So I want to ask you this. Do the New York Knicks have a pretty boy problem?
Yes.
Are we too pretty? Do we have too many choir boys on this team? And does that prevent us from dusting up with the Bucks, who have guys like Bobby Portis, guys like Giannis that have that innate dog in them, guys like Drew Holiday? Does our pretty boy image, like, does it help us go farther, or is it wind beneath our wings, or is it an anchor that we're dragging? Because we have a lot of names, bro. We have names like Obadiah and Jericho and Isaiah,
Emmanuel.
Yeah, we have a lot of Jalen,
some biblical names on the roster.
A lot of we have Julius's. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have no DeMarcus's. You know what I'm saying? We don't have guys like that on the roster. And does that prevent us, that lack of a little bit of country and a little bit of rock and roll? Does that balance? Does that lack of business in the front, party in the back, prevent us from reaching that next level?
We got Mitch. No, but yeah, I see. Just general toughness. Yeah, but here's the problem. And I hate to quote Charles Barkley, but I think he's right here. the toughest guy on your team can't be, as
The
Chuck would say,
superstar.
the not only the superstar but the littlest guy.
Yeah.
The toughest guy on the team is Brunson.
Yeah. And Charles Barkley also said, your enforcer can't be your best player. Yeah. And I think Julius Randle was the enforcer and the best player at the same time. And you see how that worked out for us.
Right.
Last year.
37 and 45 is exactly how it worked out. I get what you're saying to a degree. We don't have a.
I'm asking. I'm only asking. I don't want to.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. We got some nice boys on this team. That's why you heard me just mention that I want RJ to embody that dog. And I said, look, man, you need to send him to work with Artest in Queensbridge during the summer. Just Drew handling stuff, man. Go to Brownsville.
Yes.
Go to Rucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need that toughness, man, because that tough player is going to rally the troops and say, hey, look, man, Milwaukee got us down by 18. They dancing on us. They cheering on us. They saying we bums and scrubs. Yeah. Somebody man up or I'm knocking you out.
They up by 19 shooting threes.
Dancing.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like every team, every good team has that enforcer and has that leader that's going to step up and rally the troops. And Brunson's doing the best he can, but him by himself is not enough. That's a role that's there for the taking. Okay. RJ can be that.
Okay.
It's just nothing stopping him.
So I want to end it right here before we get to 60 minutes because I didn't want to go that long, man. I appreciate y'all. Maybe the next time we get together, we'll go into detail about can you win with Choir Boys. Maybe we can go into detail about that if we can all get on the same schedule. Just food for thought. So I want to thank Chuck Allen for coming in and keeping me company as you know what I'm saying we look to do this, but a special thanks to Woodshed and Todd B for coming through. This has been a long time coming, man. I truly appreciate all three of you brothers. You know what I'm saying for coming in and talking this Knicks talk the way that we like the Knicks talk to be talked.
Anytime, Freezy, my pleasure.
Yeah, salute to you guys, man. Nice talking to you guys again, man. Hopefully we man up. Hopefully, like you said, that the edge is on the Knicks side and we smash the Cavaliers out. Donovan shooting 9 for 19, scoring 19 points, and we get the W, man.
Yeah. Hopefully. So again, Blorange Tears family and those in the Knicks universe around the world, thank y'all for listening and to listening at the Big Boss Man Roundtable. Maybe in the future we can get our schedules together so that we can do it again. I truly enjoyed this stitch of time. New school Knicks in the morning, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Old school Knicks Sunday morning at 11 a.m. The next time y'all hear us, if we're able to get together, the Cleveland Cavaliers would have played the New York Knicks. So thank you everybody for coming through. Peace to the chat and everybody else. Peace, y'all.